We're at Fort Worden State Park in Washington. Fort Worden is one of the Triangle of Fire forts, along with Fort Casey and Fort Flagler. Fort Worden is a really interesting park, and if you have never been here before, there's a chance that you may have seen it, because Fort Worden was
the filming site for parts of An Officer and a Gentleman, and apparently the movie The Ring, which I've never seen because I don't watch scary movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of historic buildings here that they used in the military as officers' quarters and barracks and some medical facilities and that type of thing. But they're all still standing. They're doing a really good job of preserving them. It's really cool. And you can rent them, right?
Yeah, vacation rentals.
There's a museum in one of them. We've been here before a couple of times, but we've always been down either near the lighthouse or the square of historic buildings. But one place we didn't even know existed until today, and they have it closed off so you can't drive up, but we didn't have time to actually go hike up there. So that's something that we're going to be coming back for. So we'll have a Fort Worden State Park tour part 2. But there's a whole area, it's called Artillery Hill, I think, and it looks from the map that there's a whole bunch of the cement, the concrete bunkers and artillery stations and that kind of thing. We toured through one today here at Fort Worden. We don't know if that's what it looks like, but we'll be getting back up there.
Yeah, they'll open the gates are closed, so I think they'll open it up when they open up the camping in a month or so.
Yeah. Right now we're staying in the forest loop of trailer sites, and right now this is closed. We just walked in. So camping here at Fort Worden, they have, was it 80 sites? Mm-hmm. And 50 of them are down on the beach?
Yeah.
Okay, so 50 of them down on the beach have full hookups, including sewer. Mm-hmm. And where we are right now, they have power and water. Yeah. And some of these are pretty good sites. I could see us staying in some of these. Mm-hmm. So when Angie and I look for a campsite, and this is just our personal preference, we really like to have vegetation between us and the site next to us. And really it's just a comfort level of you're sitting there next to your neighbor, and if you're out doing something, do you really want those eyes to be watching you the whole time?
Watching you cook or wash your dishes or
yeah.
hang your towels.
Passing judgment on everything that you do.
Yeah. Not that we do that.
No, of course not. So there's a lot of sites here at Fort Worden that we found, at least on the forest loop, that are literally right next to each other. So if you're in your trailer, the backside of your trailer is right in the common area of where their kids would play or something.
Or where they're having their dinner at a picnic table, or sitting by their fire.
Down at the beach campground, they're still that way, but it seems like there's more room between the sites.
Plus the facilities down there, like a brand new bathroom facility and individual shower room. You walk in, it's not like a public restroom with a bunch of stalls. You walk in and it's your shower. When
we go to tour campsites, one thing that you're going to always hear me talk about is the bathroom. I'll just admit it, I'm a germaphobe, and I get grossed out very easily by having to share a bathroom with people. The bathrooms here, at least the ones that we've seen, they're clean. They do a really good job here of keeping them up. Yeah. So kudos to the Fort Worden staff. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Fort Worden.
Okay.
So Fort Worden as a fort has been here since the early 1800s, I think it was?
No, late 1800s.
Late 1800s, okay.
Yeah. That was when it was built.
And so this, again, with the other Triangle of Fire forts, were used to protect the strait going into the Puget Sound. And by the time the World War II came along, the forts were really obsolete. So they ended up closing them down as artillery forts, but still used them as training grounds.
I think so, yeah.
And what I think would have been really cool is back in the 50s, it was a children's, what did you say, a kid's?
Oh no, juvenile detention.
Juvenile detention. I can't even imagine how awesome it would be to be detained here as a juvenile.
I don't think they got let out of the barracks or whatever very often.
You don't think they just said, go outside and play?
Maybe, I don't know, it was the 50s.
Yeah. So that shut down in the 70s?
Early 70s.
Okay. So right before my time. Dang it.
As hard as you tried to get into a juvenile detention facility.
Ask my parents. I tried really, really hard. So one interesting fact that Angie found today when she was reading about the park is that there was a huge cistern, right? It was that during the 1800s or was that built after that?
I don't remember when it was built. I just know at some point they put it in as a fire defense. It held 2 million gallons of water.
2 million gallons.
Yeah.
And then you said that they emptied it out and people used it as an acoustic thing?
Yeah. The singers would come in and choirs, and the reverberation was like for 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just hum for 45 seconds to show you how long. Fort Worden is over 400 acres. There are a bunch of trails that you can go on. There's like 2 miles of beach trails, and up in the Artillery Hill area, the map shows a lot of trails up there, and we don't really know the distance of them. The park website shows that there are only like 2 miles of hiking, but it looked like there was a lot more.
Yeah.
There are a lot of roads here, so I mean, when you stand on one end of the park and look across the other end of the park, it's big. It's wide open.
You can get a lot of walking.
Yeah, you could spend all day here walking around and probably not hit everything.
And you see, when we're driving through, you see people walking their dogs or riding their bikes or jogging. I mean, there's lots of exercise going on here. So.
I saw someone doing a cartwheel.
Yeah, nice.
Fort Worden has an excellent website. I think that they're run by the state of Washington and a Fort Worden society. They have an outstanding website that gives a lot of information. There's also the Washington State Parks website that also has a lot of information. So I'll link both of those. Thank you for joining us. If you have subscribed, we thank you so much for that. If you haven't, please do subscribe so that you can follow us on our adventures. And again, leave comments. We want to hear from you guys. So thank you, and we will see you next time at Fort Flagler. Bye.
Bye.
Our goal is to come to places like this and stay a day or two just to kind of get the flavor of the campground, and I don't mean like licking trees. All right. Yeah. So tell us things that you know so that we know them, and then we could share them with other people, and then they know them, and then pretty soon everybody knows everything.
The more you know.
Anyway, we thank you.
I cracked myself
I know.
up.
I started talking and I see you in the camera looking at me. Okay, if you see a deer, you saw a deer. If you see 2 deers, do you see 2 deers or is it 2 deer?
2 deer.
Okay.
Deer.
You're welcome.